Hi guys, I am intending that you are well. I am on to read from the Esoteric Philosophy of Love and Marriage, Chapter 14, dealing with polarity within a group. Modern science is beginning to realize that the psychology of a crowd does not merely consist of the sum total of the natures of the people forming it. Esoteric science has long known this truth and made great use of its work in ritual, which draws a large measure of its power from the fact that it focuses on a group and draws upon the powers of the group mind. The theory of the group mind, though well known to occultists, is but little familiar even to psychologists who have not studied this line of thought. Therefore, a brief outline must be given in order to render plain its special application to the subject of this book. Let me say, however, for those who are familiar already with the esoteric concepts in their exoteric form, that a group mind is not the same thing as a group soul. A certain portion of the subconscious mind is not walled up within the personality. When a number of people have their attention focused upon the same object and feels towards this object the same emotion, as when a congregation's attention is concentrated upon a preacher with either love and admiration or resentment and hate. The free floating portions of its subconsciousness tend to flow together and amalgamate in a single cloud which overshadows the whole group. It must be clearly understood that metaphorical language is employed. The composite mind thus formed will contain only those ideas and feelings which are directed towards the common object of attention. These ideas will diffuse themselves throughout its substance and so find their way into the subconscious minds of all the people composing the group, and thence will influence their conscious minds. Hence the importance of a careful selection of membership in any closely organized group. For a single dominant personality can tinge the whole. When a group mind has become well established, it has a distinct personality of its own. It is a separate entity drawing its life from the group that brought it into being. It can be altered by any alteration in the spirit of the group, but it can only be destroyed by dispersing the group, so that should be an undesirable tone make itself felt in an association of persons, the only remedy is to disband and after an interval start afresh. The group mind, as soon as it is sufficiently developed, affiliates itself to those natural forces to which it is most nearly akin. For instance, a philanthropic group mind will draw upon the spiritual forces of the faith that inspires it, and a patriotic one upon the group soul of the race. Therefore, although individuals will find that their energies are drawn upon when they are engaged in building up a group mind, they will find that when once it is built, it becomes a source of energy for them to draw upon in their turn. A concrete example will serve to make this somewhat difficult and unfamiliar concept clear. Let us imagine a man with a spiritual message to deliver. By effort, he succeeds in gathering around himself a little band of believers. As soon as he has accomplished this, he finds that his work has become much easier. He preaches with much greater force and influence and less effort. His inspiration becomes stronger and less spasmodic. Disharmony or indifference among his group will affect him very closely. Any minister of religion will confirm this from his experience of the dead weight of an inert congregation and the inspiration of an enthusiastic one. I'm going to pause right there because as a minister, it doesn't matter what the energy outside of myself is. My message is my message. My energy is going to be reflected clearly from the divine stream that I am gifting thee. Those most prominent in the work of church will be very definitely aware of the backing and momentum of the group mind established by a common interest and enthusiasm. It acts as a psychic flywheel to carry them over the dead center of personal shortcomings, which I have none. There's no lacking in my being because I am a reflection of all. To these people, the group soul acts as a male force, stimulating them in their creative activities and protecting them from external influences and antagonism. In the case of the rank and file, however, the position is reversed. The soul group draws upon them, but by drawing their life forces from it, sets up a spiritual suction, as it were, and fresh life forces enter them from the universal life. One of the principal causes of trouble in unmated women is the stagnation and staleness of their unused life forces. The group mind, by calling upon these, prevents this stagnation and puts them in circuit. It will invariably be observed that a religious or philanthropic movement draws a very large portion of its power from the unmated woman or women who flock about it, because it supplies them with an outlet for their energies. These women pour into the group mind those energies which would have been spent in love and care for husband and children had they been mated. Thus, the work of civilization gets done. The group soul of the race absorbing the energies of a large number of women into itself. It may be observed that the tendency of all highly evolved civilizations is to produce a superfluity of women more than there can be absorbed into the task of reproduction. These women are produced of deliberate purpose because they are wanted for the group work by means of which the higher phases of evolution are brought into manifestation. By knowledge of this fact and deliberate use of its possibilities, the unmated woman can find her place in the world, feel her idle energies being drawn upon, and herself caught in the great cosmic stream of psychic race life, which is such a potent source of inspiration and satisfaction to those who are taking part in its flow. A group mind then has two aspects. It is a reservoir of force upon which the leaders of the group draw their creative work, and it is an outlet for the unused and wasted energies of its rank and file. A knowledge of this fact offers a valuable contribution to the solution of the problem of our superfluous womanhood. Guys, tune in to the next chapter. The next chapter is going to be chapter 15, the ideal marriage. And it is about 3.5 pages long. So I hope that you can tune into my next chapter of reading from the Esoteric Philosophy of Love and Marriage. I do quickly want to talk about how in that chapter it was mentioned that the woman, when her energy is not being used, it grows like stagnant. So I posted today that I'm going to be talking about light body, how to activate it and clear it for optimal use, and the physical body, how to connect and develop a relationship with your vehicle in this life. And I also posted about how it's so sad that most couples are only having intimate relations 54 times a year. That's only once a week. Once every 7 days is so unacceptable. And for those of you, women and men, who find yourselves not having the energy to make love to your significant other or even to yourself, I dare you to care enough to change your diet and to up your level of physical activity so that you can tap into the energy lying dormant, because ultimately that energy not being moved, it can make you sick in many ways, shapes, and forms. So many of us want to cry about feeling depressed or sad or tired all the time, but we're not doing anything about it. We're not moving our bodies and fueling our bodies with healthy, light electric foods that will help us tap into our energy. So I don't want to hear any more complaints. I'm deleting people day after day because I'm here to clear. And if you're not connecting with the messages and the knowledge and the wisdom, then you're taking up space for a divine cosmic being striving to connect to material as such, to elevate their experiences and illuminate their light in this life. I'm wishing you ever so well. Thank you for tuning in, and blessings and bliss your way. Much love.